Hi everyone, my name is Tyler. I'm at Killarney Lake Boat Works. Behind me is a Chris Craft Sea Skiff that came in from Alberta. She got a little bit of a dock rash from getting beat up in a windstorm. We're gonna get her cleaned up. We're gonna get her painted up. We're gonna fix a little bit of rod issues, some varnish issues, and we're gonna get her good to go so she can go back to Alberta and be the queen of Alberta again. It was repowered with a relatively pretty new 5.7 EFI Mercruiser in it. It has a Paragon transmission on the rear end with a stainless steel shaft. It's sitting on an easy loader trailer. All the electrical was redone. They did a really good job on the electrical and the gauges. It's got a stainless steel tank inside of it. It's got a really big, unique layout. It's like all deck. There's a little tiny cabin in the front of it with a little berth. The bottom of the keel has a little bit of wear from being beached and stuff, so we're gonna stiffen that all up. So the paints and the anti-fouling I went with. So the anti-fouling I went with is Marine One. I think that was the brand we chose because our client wanted a black bottom. He wanted to keep the same colors. The paint on the side, we're going with Petit. We're going to use the Easy Epox primer, Easy Epox top coat, high gloss. The red stripe is going to be, it's kind of difficult when you're looking for like a specific color and stuff. But we wanted to kind of stay with the original color of like the fire engine red. So we found from Rust-Oleum Marine fire engine red. The stain we're going to be using on top of the decks is going to be Chris Craft Sandusky stain. It's like the Chris Craft mahogany color. We're going to use Sandusky sealer, and we're going to use Interlux high gloss original, and it's going to be pretty decent. It's a pretty unique boat. The owner David, he had it on the internet, and just the incident with the dock, he was thinking about parting ways with it, and I called him up, and one of our big investors, our big clients who does boats, he was interested in it, and I talked to the owner. Turns out, small world, I know his uncle and his uncle's wife really well, and he was coming out here anyways, so he brought the boat out. We're gonna get it all fixed up. Planning on doing a really nice family trip on the way back, so it's pretty unique. You know, hit all the little lakes here and there before he gets home to Alberta. So yeah, we're gonna start to work on it starting today. We're gonna be stripping hardware off of it. We're gonna be stripping off the trying to kind of get into the bad paints. We're also gonna go with where there's a dock rash on the side of the boat, which I'll be cutting to show you what it looks like. We're going to be using Total Boat fairing compound. It's a wood, fiberglass, steel fairing compound, and we should be able to get that crisp lap straight finish on it. And this boat came from Alberta. It was on a trailer, kind of got wet and stuff, so I wanted to get really dry before we even considered putting on that fairing compound. All the products were ordered. I got them being shipped out of the States because, kind of going back to previous episodes, they're running into problems where like these boat companies, I don't know if it has something to do with environmental or carbon or whatever, but you can't find it anymore. You can't find the good product, and if you do, you're paying for it hard. So the prices are definitely better in the States for said products, better quality. I don't know if it's a higher VOC or why, but it's just better product. Yeah, so it's been a late day. We got the Relic, which is the 1951 enclosed cruiser sedan. We were doing some assessing of the chine and the planks, kind of looking at what we got to do to get that into the water. We're going to be planing some planks here probably in the next couple of days, cutting, tracing, and we're going to be using 5200 for the compound for like sealing it hard to the planks, and it should go on there and never come off. The chines are actually in really good shape. When the boat was lifted though, the straps moved and it almost fell out of the straps because the guy just didn't know what he was doing, and too much force and too much pressure pushing up on a plank, and it cracked the plank. So we're going to fix that up for our main client out of Winnipeg, and hopefully it's going to be at the Royal Manitoba Yacht Club this spring. But let's cut over to the side of it and let's look at the dock rack. So coming in here and looking at the side of this hull, it's actually in really good shape. Besides like the actual wear, like none of this is actually rotten. It's all pretty solid. There's nothing like, you can't smell anything. There's nothing really flaking. So we're gonna try to clean this up as best as we can. Get this like kind of like, I call this like the wood fur off, because this is like, it's like a marine plywood that they cut into strips and then they put it on. And like they have little, like these are actually like a bronze like nail, and then there's like bronze nail and then screw, bronze nails and screws, bronze nails and screws as they go along. Now, when this boat came, I was kind of like dreading, because I personally don't really like working on lap straight, but I had a really good feeling that this boat was really good taken care of. Originally, the owner told me it came from Muskoka, and it was shipped out west, kind of changed hands a bunch with his friends, and then he ended up getting it. So when we were talking about the boat, you know, he said that like, you know, this boat has a 5.7 liter in it, and he's like, you have to appreciate a V8 to have a boat like this, because this boat just cooks in the water. And I believe it, because like the weight of this boat probably is anywhere from 4,600 to 6,500 pounds, and it's lap strake, so there's no heavy framing inside of it. So like the lap strake is the framing more or less, and this thing would just cook on the water. And it was really interesting when we were talking to David about the bottom of the boat. He doesn't have a permanent dock space, so he likes to take it for like a weekend and use it on the water. And he'll take it out, use it, and then put it back on his trailer. And he says like the bilge pump like doesn't really go off. He says like he'll pound it for a whole day on the water, and maybe at the end the bilge will go off for like, you know, 50 to a minute or whatever, and clear out all the water which is sitting in the bilge. And that's probably packing water. Like that's pretty normal, you know what I mean, on a wood boat, especially a boat from this era. So it looks pretty good. Like honestly, I think this will clean up really good once we get that seam compound. We build it up. We kind of get it as smooth as possible. We build it up with the seam compound. We come with the sander, and we sand it down smooth, and then all the edging, we could technically take a skill saw and run the skill saw along just to take off whatever, with like a really small, like an 8-inch or a 10-inch blade, or take the sonic cutter. But honestly, with the scraper, we'll get that like as smooth as possible. Yeah, I think it's a pretty unique boat. We're gonna go take a look at the back of the boat. Stay tuned. So the rear of the boat, the transom looks pretty good on it. It says that it was probably serviced by Tournament Ski and Marine, and it's a 80 or 708 number, so that's an Alberta number. I'm pretty sure they were the ones who probably did the motor. They did a really good job. The way they put the motor in, and how it was installed with the plating and how they mounted it. They even went and put nice, the bellows are on here, so you're not gonna get water kicks back up in the motor and hydro locks your motor. Now, when David was telling me that, you know, when he has it in the water, there's this big seam in the back here and it never really closes up. And I think if it sat in the water more, it would probably close up. But my plan is I'm gonna take some brown Sea Skiff and I'm gonna pump it in here, or even some 5200. And then I'm gonna touch up with gold and white, because he doesn't, like, overall, like, the varnish on the back here is in really good shape. And like, I think I just need, like, you know, a little bit of like an 810 or 1000 grit sandpaper sand. And then you put some, like, we clean up all these seams, and then some, like, this is just, I could tell by looking at it, it's the Sandusky's Chris Craft stain with the filler stain. We could even run some of the filler stain right in this seam, and it would fill up pretty good, except this big one, it's really big. But yeah, I want to keep this kind of original. I don't really want to change this. Now the owner, Dave, was telling me about the bung here. He was having some issues, I think, with the threading on it. So we're gonna change this out with a new one. Probably gonna go with like a stainless steel plug-in one. Reference this one right here. And this is the one I put in the jitterbug. I think it's a good system. The jitterbug uses it. But yeah, like, it's a really nice boat. Like, looking at the prop, it's got a nice prop. You know what? For what the power of the motor is in this boat, it could kind of even go to a 4-blade or even a bigger, like, prop on it, because it's a V8, right? It'd probably cook really. It would probably get more torque in the water being a single, right? Looking underneath the boat, like, the shape looks good. There's a little bit of like, kind of, I don't know, like, it's not, this isn't Sea Skiff. I don't know what this is. I think this is just kind of like a little bit of silicone of some sort, some type putting in the bottom. We're gonna clean that up. We're gonna scrape the bottom. We're gonna put a nice coat of anti-fouling on the bottom, and it will look so sharp, this boat. All the electrical was done right. Like, they put nice rubber gaskets for all the through holes, and all the hardware is all stainless. Some Robinson, but yeah, majority is, it's actually Robinson on this boat, so I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting this boat. Yeah. I remember a lot of these boats when I was a kid up in, like, Lake Simcoe and Georgian Bay and, like, Gravenhurst, Lake Joseph. I don't know where they all went, and I just don't know if people took care of them as much, but it's a nice boat. I personally, if it was me, I would buy it and add it to the collection, but we all know that I have the jitterbug, I have the 34-foot double aft cabin flybridge, and I got that mystery Sentry that we just don't talk about, and which I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, I feel like once this one's done, once the Relic is done outside, I still gotta get my 34 just, like, kind of cleaned up for the spring. That's gonna go in May long, and I'm gonna kind of juggle everything. Like, the Relic, once I put the the planks in and I anti-foul it, it's pretty much ready for the water. Like, it was in the water last fall, the owner told us, and that's when it got damaged and they were lifting it. And so, like, I don't know, our investor, he's pretty keen on using it at the yacht club this year, so see how that goes. But yeah, I'm really torn, because it's got, like, everyone who's like a Century guy are like, hey, like, that's not a normal resorter. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's not, because it doesn't follow any of the layout. It's got a resorter canopy and windshield, and it's all complete, like, for hardware. But, like, the interior is completely different with, like, all this cabinetry and stuff. and it was from Lake of the Woods originally, and I just can't bring myself to cut it. But then also at the same time, like, I don't want to spend a whole summer replanking a boat. I was like, what do I do? And I thought about, because it was painted blue, like the whole hull, it was a blue hull. And I was thinking, like, what would be like a budget job? Because like the bottom is a West epoxy bottom. So it's, and it's a nice, it's funny because like the whole sides are rotted out, but the bottom holds water and it doesn't show it in like a day of like any kind of wear on it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I marine plywooded the whole outside of the hull, the transom's good. I don't even know how to touch the transom. Just do the marine plywood the hull and then paint it blue. It wouldn't be a bad boat. It would be pretty good. It's dry right now. It was in the shop for a while, so I don't know. So many ideas. I don't have full disclosure on that one. I would dread to tell Amanda I was thinking about it. How are you, everyone? My name is Tyler. I'm at Killarney Lake Boat Works. Well, I hope you liked the little video that was before this. There was a bunch of other videos that I did that were miraculously went missing off of my SD card, so I don't have it anymore. Sorry. I've been pretty much Joe Biden. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the boat behind me. She's like 95% done. Looks good. This is what it looked like when it showed up. This is the damage on the hull. The owner is from Alberta, and he really wanted this boat to look good. He bought it at auction. It's actually been a crazy journey because I've had the original owner actually reach out to me through Western Canada Wood Boats on Facebook on a group. I'm like a big contributor on it. And he's like, yeah, that was my boat. I sold it at auction, and kind of said like, oh, if the owner wants to reach out to me, and I passed the information over to the owner. This boat came from Muskoka area. I don't know who restored it, but they did a pretty good job. But you know what? It probably was done maybe in 2001. So like the paint all around the boat was cracking, was flaking off. There was like a blue and a red over top of each other. And it kind of, there was some delamination, there was some rot issues. Stuff that was starting to go bad, kind of fester. And I attribute to this boat being in such good shape is because like the owner, David, when he keeps it in a nice warehouse, he owns a business, and the previous people kept it in a warehouse. So this boat has actually sat on this beautiful easy loader trailer like for a really long time, probably since the early 2000s. So it was time for it to have like a refresh. There was an incident that happened with a storm. The boat beat itself up on a dock. So this is where we're gonna go down. We're gonna break it down like this. So, Total Boat, pretty good products. They always like our stuff on Instagram. They're pretty cool. I reached out to them at one time to see if I could get their products, but they don't really have retailers here in Manitoba or whatever. Anyways, I just went and I got it. So we're gonna talk about Total Fairing by Total Boat. You have an A and a B. You know what's wicked about this product? One is like a blue and the other one's like a kind of like a yellowish. You mix that together, it goes green. It's like go. You know it's been mixed right. And I mixed that up, I put that on there. I had stripped the hull, reference this picture right here, and then I put the fairing compound on, then I sanded it, and it actually turned out really good. I got as smooth as possible. You're dealing with a boat from 1950s, so like there's imperfections all over the hull from being lap straight, and just like picture like you have like a shingling, so like it's gonna always rip down. So like regardless of being the damage being on the other side, there's damage on this side. And the one thing that I realized when I was working this boat, someone actually had already been in there and actually had repaired the lap strike previously before. So probably going back to like the original restoration in like 2001 or whatever like that. So anyways, going back, the original owner, he reached out to me on Classic Wood Boats of Western Canada on Facebook. There's like a page that I'm on. And he's like, yeah, like that boat came from Muskoka. It was like restored. I had to sell it. I put it at auction. Cool. Pass my information over to my guy. So I sent it over to Dave. He's like, cool. He's like, kind of like, I knew the story kind of a little bit, but maybe I'll reach out to him. Good to go. This boat, someone restored it probably in the 2000s. They put in a 5.7 liter Merc Cruiser with a Paragon transmission with stainless steel prop, all new gauges, all the electrical was good. Yeah, I didn't really have to touch any, like I don't really touch motors anyway, so I just like was like whatever. Now, when this boat showed up, I was like saying to myself, can I contain myself with this? Like, can I actually contain myself? I hate that light on the front of the boat. Like, it was this hideous. You know what? Let's just take a break. I don't even know where this weird, like 1960s, 80s, or 70s pot metal light came from, but like whoever restored it, like they did a good job, but like I don't know why you would cheat yourself and put something like this on the front of the boat. And they even went to the extent of putting like good connectors on it, but it's just like this like cheap pot metal garbage, you know. And the lens actually might be glass, but this is from like a glass bar boat, like an old 60s, 70s fiberglass boat. So anyway, that's that light. Anyways, I was like, I gotta fix this. So I made some calls and I like hunted all over the place, and I ended up getting from Earl the Pearl out of Marine Service in Michigan, the light behind me. An original Sea Skiff light. It's got a beautiful flagpole. I sent it to the owner, Dave, today, a picture. He's like, man, that's like the best part of the boat right now. Because it didn't have a flag. It had this like 1960s, like, I don't even know what this is. Maybe it had like a chrome thing on, I don't know. Couldn't find it in the boat. Anyway, so, yeah, so I ended up getting that light on there. It looks super sharp, super nice. And then it's all wired up. The only issue what I find with it is like this one is a glass lens, but that one is kind of like a talcum bake, whatever, plastic lens. It's good, it's still in good shape. It's not cracked. It's not have any kind of serious issues. So it's kind of expensive, but it was worth it. And then in the front of the boat, so there's a few things still left. Like I said, we're like kind of like 95% done. I gotta put a water line on it. I gotta do some little more anti-fouling on the bottom. I want to build up a couple more good coats on it of this Marpro New England single season copper blade of black. It's a 728.74. It's actually a really good price on that. It's becoming really, really, really friggin' hard to get anti-fouling in Canada. Like it's like $400, $350 for anti-fouling. It's ridiculous. And then like they got rid of racing bronze. So like the jitterbug, I didn't do racing bronze. I just put Union Jack red on the bottom, whatever. And that was by it's the same company of Interlux. It was Nautica. But anyways, that's what I put on. Going back to this. Yeah, the catch was too low, so every time the boat came up, it would hit this like rubber thing, and it was pounding in the front. So I took my sawing tool, cut it out, put a new piece of mahogany in there, epoxied it, filled it, sanded it, filled, good to go. All over the boat, the varnish was broken. It had like like the haze and flaking everywhere. So I told Dave, like, let's give her a good facelift. You know what I mean? Like, let's make her look like Pamela Anderson in like the 90s on Baywatch. And yeah, so I use Sandusky's Chris Craft Mahogany 9603 for color. I use Sandusky's Clear Sealer 2260. When you're buying Sandusky products, don't use any other sealer, just use the sealer they make. It's the best for locking in their color. You can get one from Pettit and like Interlux, but I find that with the Sandusky color, it like bleeds out or it doesn't apply properly. So just use their product, it's been formulated. I use my like typical like normal choice Interlux original. I was actually about switching it up, but I have a lot of Interlux original. So for the primer, I use Pettit Protect. It's an epoxy primer. It comes in 2 cans. You mix it, you just pour it in, and you stir it up, and it goes well. The epoxy primer, when you mix it, you gotta let it sit for like 35 minutes, 40 minutes, or it won't settle right. And I had a little bit of an issue happen when I was putting it on. I put it on a little too quick. I had to actually remove it and then put it back on, but it was okay. Now the top coat though, I used Pettit's Easy Pox White, and it went on really good because when I was telling Dave, I was like, let's put a paint on this boat that's gonna last like 10, 15 years. Like something with like an epoxy, like not like a normal and enamel. Because he's in a shop and the dryness, we put this epoxy on, it will seal the boat really good, and it will seal in the fairing compound. So that's what I did with that. The anti-fouling, I put some, there's 5200 in there, there's Sea Skiff Flex, there's I have this other brand of kind of like a elastomer tube here. It's a new product that we're using, but it's good. At the back of the boat, the original owner was like, the one who put it up for auction, he's like, listen, like there was a back area where there was some funky stuff on. I'm like, I sorted out. It's like, it's mahogany plywood, and like it was kind of chipping away and flaking back. So I sanded it down, I stabilized it, I epoxied it, I sanded it again, I stained it, I sealed it, and it looks great. Like this. Okay, there was a corner on this side. I don't know if someone smacked it or what, and then like it was fractured wood, moisture got on it. It was all kind of like festering. So I filled it with epoxy. I sanded it and I got it super clean, the edge. So it's good. It'll probably last longer than the boat epoxy. The canopy was never, when Dave got the boat, he never used the canopy. And it's got a whole like mooring cover for the boat. And it's like the connectors were actually broken. So I had to get new connectors and I put them on. Now, on the side of this boat, where the side of this window is, so like you have like the gunnel around, and you have like this little side area. That was the worst area for flaking. And I had to go in there with like a finger sander and like, and get rid of it, all the flaking. It was crazy. I did a burn strip and then I sanded with like 60, 120, 180, 220, 300, 600, 1,000 grit. And I just sanded away. I must have gone to the dump about 6 times of just crap that I was going through so much chemical. When you're in a shop, you're gonna be going through like stuff like this like all the time. You're just gonna be like, you're just getting it all the time. One other thing that, what kind of like situation, one of my friends at work, she wanted a boat. So she's like, kind of like, well, I'll get you a wood boat, you know what I mean? And she's like, no, I want something like a speedboat. And I was like, okay. And one of my friends, Richard, was like, you should get her a boat. Anyways, I found a bayliner, reference this picture, and it was all bagged. And I was like, she had a compass. This one's got like a Gen 2 Alpha 1 with a 5.7 liter V8 in it. And I was like, she drives a compass, so it's not gonna pull, it's a heavy boat. Anyways, I end up the next day, a 1994 Sierra. This one came up, it was 94 or 93. Mint, low hours. It's got a 2.4 liter Merc Cruiser, runs beautiful. I got it up. It was like original cover, upholstery is good on it, and I got it. Today they brought it out in the lake, they had a good time with their family. They had a little bit of a hiccup with that like little safety clip what goes on your keys. You're supposed to go on your life jacket, but no one ever does. They just put it on their keys. It wasn't on and they kind of killed the battery, but whatever. Her husband said a really interesting thing to me. He was like, if karma has it, like if it goes well here, it's gonna get me somewhere else. Like something else will be bad. So I'd rather this happen now than the first time. I'm like, that's a fair way of looking at it. I like that. So anyways, now I got this. I got this bayliner, like this 1997 40th anniversary edition Sierra 2055 LS with a 5.7 liter. So we went out in the water today with my big boss Amanda. She likes it. She's like, well, I guess you can keep 3 boats. But now I'm still in the doghouse because, well, you can see the jitterbug is still right here. I'm gonna put that in the water probably like tomorrow. It's supposed to rain though Thursday, but I got the big boat outside. Reference this picture, and it's beside the Relic. These boats probably haven't been together. They're both 51s, and they probably haven't been together since the assembly day. It's pretty wicked that they're together. They rolled off the same assembly line together. And like, don't get me wrong, like they probably built my boat over 6 months. They probably were on the same floor together getting assembled. That's pretty sweet that they're together right now. Anyways, that makes my day. Anyways, yeah, but then like I get knocked down because she's like, well, why is my boat in the water? It's May long weekend. Listen, my wife and I have been married for 18 years. I've done multiple deployments overseas with the Army, and the least thing I can do is get her boats in the water. So I can manage that. I bought her a Mercedes though, but whatever. But yeah, other than that, it's been busy. I got a lot of projects on the go. The big boats in there, I'm gonna maybe even pull it in here, take the windshield off and just start touching up the hull. There's some stuff with the hull that needs to be sorted out. I actually might have to pull a plank on the front. There's one that's like, it's bad. And I need to rip it out. And I need to pull it out because every year the paint at the seam comes off because you can't paint rotten wood. And I've been hesitant about doing it. And it's above the water line. It's actually like 3 or 4 planks above the water line. And I'm just like, oh, do it. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna do it. And now I gotta go get some marine or some mahogany. Probably some African mahogany because it's cheaper, and throw that in there. The Relic I got inside. I gotta go do the plank on the one side, plank on the other side. I got all the colors are ready to go. All the paint what's used on that is actually from Interlux. Some really cool colors like Hatteras Gray and stuff like that. So I have to go get these paints, and then I'm gonna sand it with like 1,000 grit and make it super smooth, and then I'm gonna roll it so it looks like the boat looks like it's fiberglass. Like it looks super good. It's super. There's no seams. There's no inconsistencies. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. You know, life's wild. I'll tell you though, highlight of my last 2 weeks is my really good friend Jared got a new barbecue, and then he sold me his Napoleon barbecue. We got a bunch of nice ribeye steaks, and I've just been eating nice red meat all the time. So it's been pretty good. And you know, I have one of my friends. He's like, you know, I noticed like you don't listen to music and stuff. There's always something going on though. There's like always like, I listen to these like weird like conspiracy or like stuff about like Bigfoot when I'm in here. It's just like, you know, like the sound of someone talking breaks the thing, and I can actually like pretty much like time travel. So like I can go like 7-8 hours in this shop, and like it doesn't feel like I just burned 8 hours in here. So like this boat behind me, I have a lot of hours into it. Like I don't even want to put it into numbers. There's a lot. But it looks good. I'm happy with it. This picture, like it looks, look how good it looks right there. My plan is when the owner comes down, I'm gonna have the jitterbug at the dock, probably have that big liner at the dock, and have this at the dock. And I'm gonna get Dave with the aerial footage to come down, and we're gonna do like an aerial drone footage of the 2 classic Chris Crafts on the lake, on Killarney Lake. Man, what a flex. What a flex. Wow. Anyways. Thanks again for watching, staying tuned. Sorry about the video footage. I'll try to like include at the end of this some pictures so you guys can just see what kind of the journey I went through and the headaches. And just keep it real. Tom, get down to Missouri, start working on your course there, get that boat done. You know, and special thanks to Ray, because he's kind of like the guy who makes everything happen here. Or like, you know, he's got a dream of what he wants. He's got some beautiful boats what are available for you guys to stay on in Mackinac Island in Mackinac City that he does Airbnb on. I'll post links later on for it if you guys want to go stay on a cool boat in Michigan. Or he has some boats up in Hecla Island on Lake Winnipeg. And he's got some boats even on the West Coast and in Florida. So if you want to go on a trip and you want to stay and have like a unique, you know, like Chris Craft official like fantasy stay, then do it. Because Ray is pretty much Mr. Mackinac. He's Mr. Chris Craft, because I don't know anyone who owns more Chris Crafts than Ray does. Ray owns like 75 Chris Crafts. That's wicked, eh? That's like a flex. Imagine like going into like a restaurant or going to a bar and there's a hot chick there and she's like, all these like nerds coming up to her with like turtlenecks and corduroy pants on and glasses without lenses in it. And they're like, hey, like what's up? How are you doing? And then like Ray comes in, he's like, hey, I have 75 Chris Crafts. I enjoy Rob Roy or like a nice like Blue Moon beer. And I can take you out on a boat if you want. That sounds pretty good. Anyways, my name is Tyler. I'm here at Killarney Lake Boatworks in Killarney, Manitoba. We've just finished the Prairie Queen. She's about 95%. We're waiting on wood for the doghouse. We got the sewing machine up and going. The products we use, just to recap: Pet It, Protect, Marpro, New England, Anti-Fouling, Pet It, Easy Pox White, Total Boat, Total Fair, Interlux Original, obviously. Sandusky Paint Sealer, Sandusky Chris Craft Mahogany, Filler Stain, 9603. And the Sandusky Sealer was 2260. And this is the most ugliest light I've ever seen in my life. My name is Tyler, I'm at Killarney Lake Boatworks. Stay tuned, enjoy, share, like, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube if you like. You don't have to. Probably Instagram is probably the best way to go. Peace out. Have a good one. I'm going over tonight. Have a good one.